All right, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Soto here. That's
What's
Rory
up?
Parsons.
What's
Fucking
cracking,
JR's
peeps?
JR is big timing us again. He's flying to God knows where. I don't know. He's
UFC, man.
flying somewhere. UFC somewhere. I don't know.
They got that man
Uh,
busy.
that man is a corporate slave. I'll tell you that. He is a small piece in that cog that is the UFC machine
We got to
for
get him
sure.
tied down, and we got to do a proper card discussion. Honestly, like I just listened to the pod that you guys did, obviously, and it sucks not being able to respond to him, dude. I want to be
Dude,
able to respond to him.
I just got so irritated because it's like I'm trying my best to be. I mean, not only in like neutral and impartial. I'm trying to just give how I feel about things because I'm not that negative on Carr. I think RJ and I are probably about 90% in agreement of what's going on. And when you said mental gymnastics, the Jags just scored a touchdown and hit the 2 point conversion. It's garbage time. It's 27 the good guys and 11 to the lamos. So when you talk about mental gymnastics, I was like, dude, every time it's something that's good about Carr, it's either a solid stat that's that he can back up, or it's the intangibles. When it's something that is maybe okay, maybe not as positive, it's got to be a free hard stat. It can't be an intangible. And what I was so just angry that he took it there because he ambushes me with that stuff. All right, here we go. 1st and 10. Oof, this kid's showing some freaking burst. He's not
I
going to
mean,
make the team.
the game's pretty much over, right? I
Yeah,
stopped watching the second all the practice squad guys are in. Like
yeah.
at that point, I've seen everything I need to see.
You know what? I will say this: our offensive line is looking a lot better. Uh, save for Brandon Parker. Brandon Parker. God bless you, man. Um, I wish you well
I mean,
because
let's be honest though, dude. It was very, very interesting to see them start the game with Brandon Parker at left tackle. No one expected that coming into it, right? We heard about him doing a little bit of that in training camp as a swing tackle,
uh-huh.
but for him to start the game at left tackle and Leatherwood at right tackle was really, really interesting. Holy shit, Brandon Parker is not a left tackle. Wow.
Brandon Parker. There, we need someone else at left tackle because Brandon Parker is either going to start at right tackle or he's not going to play at all.
Dude, I'm
He
kind of
cannot play left tackle.
right. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't see Brandon Parker at right tackle. Unless I'm mistaken, I didn't see him at right tackle at all. It was Leatherwood at
I
right
did see
tackle.
him a little bit at right tackle,
You did?
and yeah, he was better. But dude, he's going against a rookie, and he's first pick and everything. But dude, he looked just outmatched, outgunned for what, a fourth year player, something like that.
Well, he's not. He's
Uh,
not a left tackle. I don't understand why he was in at left tackle. I mean, they're trying to
okay,
figure out who's going to back up Colton Miller,
yeah,
which I
it,
get.
it's very interesting by the starting lineup that you saw from the Raiders. You know who has their starting job locked up, and you know who doesn't. Basically, the guaranteed starters are going to be Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfro, Colton Miller, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything else is up for grabs. And let me tell you something. Dylan Parham looked pretty good.
He looked really
He
good, dude.
looked pretty good.
I love that it sort of mirrored what we saw what we heard in training camp about him playing both guard positions and also center because he got snaps at all three, and he flashed in all the right ways, and he didn't really have negative plays, at least on
No.
first look.
There was one play that I saw on a stunt that to um, he was late to identify the loop guy, and he did get an arm on the guy and slowed him down, and the pass was able to get thrown, which is okay. It's not going to happen against top tier talent. Top tier talent will have their face in Derek Carr's chest. But I really liked there was a screenplay where at center he was the lead blocker. So if you got a guy that could pull out and get out in space and actually make contact with the guy at center, that's pretty impressive. I thought that was a really nice play for him. So I was very impressed. I was impressed. Okay, hold your nuts. Okay, I was impressed that Leatherwood. I didn't notice him in the game.
I did a little bit. I mean, Ted. I don't know if you follow Ted. Ted Nguyen. You follow him. He used to do a ton of film breakdown for the Raiders back in the day, and then he kind of got big time and stopped doing it. I think he works at the Athletic now, behind the paywall. But he said that they were getting a ton of help over the Leatherwood side, but they were helping on both sides. Both tackles.
Yeah, they were helping.
Help.
It all depended on the formation of the defense, but I mean,
it was good, dude.
He was fine. He was fine. And let's be honest here. There's a lot of turmoil and a lot of uncertainty with the Jaguars as well. They played probably 8 starters on defense, 8 to 9 starters. They played a lot of guys that are going to play a lot of snaps on defense this year. So was it their full defense? No. Was it a lot of guys who can make plays and who have made plays in the league? Yeah. So what can we take away from that, especially the first quarter, if not the first half? Improvement. That's what we can take from that. There's been some improvement.
I got some good takes for the first half. For me, so it ended 20-0. I know score doesn't matter, but that's still pretty much as good as it gets for a half of football. All 3 phases, we were better than the Jags. All 3 phases, we executed. We had 1 fucking penalty the entire half. When you talk about Leatherwood, the fact that he didn't shine for the wrong reasons, in terms of pre-snap penalties or holds or whatever it was a big thing. Like, 1 penalty was a real positive of McDaniel's first year as a head coach. So it's just really positive. We looked sharp, we looked ready, we looked prepared. Offensive line is still a concern. We just said Brandon Parker's not a left tackle. No shit. That was the big thing that really stood out. He was terrible. He whiffed on multiple. Obviously, there was the sack with Walker where he just got walked back into the quarterback and disengaged pretty easily. But he also whiffed on some other shit. Like lunging. He whiffed on
quite a few times.
Yeah, man. It was bad for him. On the offensive line, so Cotton, that was something that we were looking out for was how Lester Cotton Sr. did. And I thought he was impressive. He had a couple of bad moments. He missed on that stunt that Arden Key got in for a sack on. But besides that, dude, it was a really positive half. He had a couple of really savvy snaps as well where, like he'd catch the defensive tackle over leaning and he'd just rip him down and move on to the second level, which is super impressive. And he looked better in space on some of those screenplays, which was really good too. Like you can tell he's been working on his athleticism in space. So that was a positive. But again, like our biggest concern on the offensive line was that right side. We didn't see Brandon Parker, who was, the supposed starter on the right tackle spot. We didn't see him get extended minutes. And then Lester Cotton, is he going to be enough at right guard? It looked like he's still got a little bit of learning to do. Hopefully he can get it done in the preseason. We can get him up to speed because otherwise that right side's still a bit of a question mark. Also in the first half, holy shit, dude. Was it just me or did Graham show a lot? And McDaniels. I feel like they both were pulling out. It wasn't just a vanilla preseason sort of, roll it out and see how it goes. Like they were doing everything, man. The offense, you had a nice mix of run and pass. Go ahead. We had a bunch.
Well, the defensively, he showed a lot of formations. He really didn't do much with the formations that he showed. So he didn't show a lot of looks, which is what we needed to do. We needed to see who's going to be able to adjust with the different looks and the different groupings and formations and all that stuff. So that was good. And really tight, solid defense. Couple of late scores. A field goal in the third, a garbage time touchdown against guys that are going to be bagging groceries and selling insurance in a month and a half. Good showing as far as that went. Offensively, we had 10 passing first downs and 11 rushing first downs. RJ was like, "Oh, we're gonna air it out. We're gonna throw the ball a lot, probably because he wants to." But I keep telling him, man, we're gonna run the fucking ball a lot. We're gonna run the ball a lot more than we did under Gruden. Um, so one of the lines that I really liked that I heard starting in OTAs. I think Patrick Graham was the first time I heard it. Maybe I'm not attributing this to him, but it's the first time that I heard it coming from the Raiders end, and it was the standard is the standard. Like this is it. Like I don't care any of your excuses, any of your reasoning doesn't matter. The standard is the standard, and that's that. And we're gonna get above and beyond that standard, and there's no other question about it. That's it. And we saw that come into play when I think this first half we had one penalty. We had four penalties in the fourth quarter. Garbage time penalties. Like the guys that are going to play, there was one penalty.
Exactly.
And I'm very encouraged by that. That's one of the things that we talked about. We want to take a look at how are they going to react, the most penalized team. I was very upset about a penalty that wasn't called on the hit on Keelan Cole. That was a savage hit and nothing. And then we get called for a helmet to helmet hit that the guy popped right up. Oh yeah, you got me. I'm up, popped right up. And then we get the flag for that. So
they missed it. They missed it. It was Keelan Cole as well. As everyone was holding their breath there for a second because he looks like he's going to contribute. Dude, I gotta say, like it was very revealing who was getting minutes and where they were lining up. Obviously, Matt Collins got a ton of time. I was surprised Demarcus Robinson seems further down the depth chart. It seems like Matt Collins and Keelan Cole are going to be sort of the next guys beyond Renfro and Devontae, obviously. Tyron Johnson had a good game today. He had that big drop on the deep shot down the left-hand side.
He had an okay game.
He got open. He had some big catches. He also had some negative plays. But it looks like they've got him ahead of Demarcus Robinson, to me at least.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I think, of course, Johnson's a lot more explosive. And if you're going to have a guy a little bit further down on the depth chart, theoretically, you don't want like a guy that's a kind of a C plus at everything or a B at everything. You want a guy that's maybe a C and B at most things, but he has that one thing that you can take advantage of. And him is that A plus speed. He's a smaller guy. He doesn't have great hands. He doesn't run great routes, but that motherfucker is fast. And if you get him the ball in space, as he showed, he can make things happen. But as he also showed, not the best hands when he dropped that pass that was going to land him inside the 5. So good things was the offensive line. I was very encouraged by that. I'm a little bit worried about our pass rushing depth. Jerry Green got in. He's been flashing in training camp, and he had a couple of plays today. But other than that, I really didn't see much. I didn't see much out of Malcolm Kuntz. I'm very concerned about that.
I think that was an error from Chris Collinsworth, by the way, because Kuntz is number 51, and I'm pretty sure at least one of those plays, Collinsworth called it as Jerry Green, but it was definitely Kuntz. It was the rollout to the, I think it was to the right, and Kuntz had his hands up and got the deflection, almost got the pick. But Kuntz actually, dude, he flashed. He had a couple of good ones. He was, besides that play, he won a couple of his one-on-ones from the right defensive end spot. He had a nice counter inside move that would have got to the quarterback if it wasn't it was a short, like a 3-step drop and go, or 5-step drop and go. I thought he had a nice game. He flashed, I'd say 3 or 4 times. So I was happy with Kuntz because he's going to be an important player for us. Yeah,
I mean, we're going to see. It just, I would like to have seen a little bit more pressure on the quarterback. I think that the Jags quarterbacks had a little bit extra time than we would have liked. Nothing up the middle, no pressure up the middle. That's concerning, and that's what you see when backup guys. Unless we don't have a Dylon in the defensive tackle. Just to wrap it up, I wrap up the game, not the show, but Las Vegas Raiders win 27-11. It wasn't that close. A couple of garbage time touchdowns. The players that are going to play, you're going to see during the season, it was 20-0. Very clean first half by the Raiders. One penalty. We had a couple of drops, but ultimately the balls were there, which is good. That's what you want to look for in these types of games. Was the ball there? Was the protection good? Did the scheme get them open? That's good stuff offensively. Defensively, are your guys in position to make the play? Is the scheme you're running sound, right? The players are going to be the players. You're going to get upgrades in players in every position from the guys that were playing. But is the scheme sound? Are your guys in position to make the plays? Patrick Graham's defense looked sound, and not only that, but they played really well. Just save for some penalties in the fourth quarter, it was going to be a touchdown shutout. You got a field goal. But take a look at some of these stats here. First downs, Jags had 15 first downs. They had 10 passing, 2 rushing, and 3 off penalties. Our Las Vegas Raiders had 22 first downs, 10 passing, 11 rushing, and 1 off a penalty. Third down efficiency, Jags were 3 of 12, 0 for 1 on fourth down. And we were 6 for 16 on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth down. Total plays, Jags 59, Raiders 70 for 321 total yards. I don't know that Jags got even got to 300, 270 something. Same amount of yards per play. It's just timely penalties on the Jags, stopping their own drives and stuff like that. And we had 5 sacks. But again, a lot of them were just kind of like coverage sacks, which is the exact opposite thing that we were thinking of, because we're like, okay, the secondary is one of our kind of question marks going into the season, and we have Max and we have Chandler Jones, and usually it's going to be the quick sack, not the coverage sack, but we had a lot of coverage sacks today and in the game.
So I also want to mention the running backs. Super interested to see how that worked out. Surprising to see Jacobs start the game, and he stayed in until he played the first 2 series, and I think he got a little bit of the third series. And then the second, and he looked good too, as you'd expect, right? He's fresh off the offseason. He's got a point to prove this year. He ran with power. He always makes the first man miss. I love that about Jacobs, man. He's such a slippery dude when it comes to the first man. It doesn't matter if it's a stiff arm or if he just barrels through someone. The first guy almost never gets him. And then the next guy to come in was Amir Abdullah, which sort of reflects what we've heard about camp. He's been really defining a role kind of unexpectedly, right? And then Zeus came in, and Zeus looked damn good. Looked really, really good. Again, he kind of looked like a Jacobs. Like he was running with power and he was catching the ball out of the backfield. Like they gave him a lot of opportunities to impress, and he did a good job with it. The one that kind of, again, sort of just doesn't look like he fits right now is Kenyon Drake. They really don't seem to have a high opinion of Kenyon Drake, or they're just working him back from injury super slowly, as evident by the fact. So everyone else kind of looked good. Drake didn't necessarily do anything. And then, do you remember at the end of the first half, we were backed up on our own 5-yard line with 20 seconds left, and they ran Drake right up the middle with 20 seconds left, and you're like, why the fuck are you doing that with Drake? You know, it doesn't speak very highly of what they think of him.
Yeah, I said it. It's, he's in the third string column along with Zamir White. He ran with power. Like what the comparison to Josh Jacobs is pretty good. He played a lot like Josh Jacobs. A little bit more power at the end of runs is evidence of embarrassing. I think it was a safety for the Jaguars or a linebacker. Just put his own safety. Put his head down and just truck stick them. That is something that we don't want Josh Jacobs to do, because he seems to, get nicked up. And Zeus popped right back up. God bless 22-year-olds. They're able to bounce back. Even a 22-year-old from a 24-year-old. It's a big difference in the NFL when you're a running back and taking those hits. But I like the fact that we were committed to the run, and the run was successful. We ran the ball 33 times. for 159 yards. That's almost 5 yards a carry, 4.8. I want to be clear about what I expect from this offense. I expect us to be pretty balanced. Out of 70 plays, we ran 33 of them. And my computer like mine, it's 37 passes and 33 runs. That's damn near 50-50. I don't see us being much different in the regular season, honestly.
So the thing about this, and RJ will call this out. If he was on the pod right now, he'd be calling this shit out. How much can you really apply from preseason to regular season? I mean, you would expect a lot of runs in preseason. You probably expect more of a balance. But I texted you guys this earlier when I was listening to the pod. The Patriots were the 7th highest ranked offense in terms of percentage of offensive plays being runs last year under McDaniels. It was 47.8%. And then the year before that in 2020, the Patriots were the 2nd highest in the league with 53.3% of their offensive plays being runs. So McDaniels likes to run the ball. He likes to control the clock. He likes to establish his own will. But RJ's retort to that was, yeah, but he didn't have Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller in this O-line. Which, I mean, he might be right. We're going to wait and see.
I mean, I want to take a look at some stats when Brady had like Moss and those guys, and see what the averages were, because from what I've seen, even within the Brady years, he likes to run the ball. I don't know that I want Derek Carr to drop back 40 times a game. If it was up to RJ, he would drop back 50 times a game and just let it rip, because that's what he wants. He gets super wet with number 4 back there standing tall in the pocket. The problem is, I don't know if I trust my offensive line to pass protect that many times per game. I'm not saying that they're going to be a bad offensive line, but you have to be a pretty special offensive line to not have just one of those guys have one big oops during the game. That's all it takes for your season to basically be flushed down the toilet. And I don't know if I trust our offensive line. It's nothing to do about Derek Carr, because do I think having a better offensive line that Derek Carr can throw the ball 40 times a game? Sure, I think he's more than capable of having an excellent season doing that. I don't trust our offensive line to pass protect that many times per game.
Look, we're going up against Bosa and a healthy Khalil Mack week 1. And nothing that happened tonight has eased anyone's concerns about the right side of our offensive line. That's just a fact. That's the truth, right? I don't know. We know that Brandon Parker, even if he is going to be right tackle, he's not going to be able to handle Bosa or Mack one-on-one at the right tackle spot, right? So our game plan is either going to be getting him a ton of help on that right side, whether that's Waller, Moreau, whoever chipping, or it could be keeping the running back on that side. It could be, as evident tonight, I think the screen game is going to be a much bigger factor in our offense this year, which I love that personally. I think we
look good offensive line-wise blocking those screens.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we really do. We got some big uglies that can move. The screen looked really effective. Sure, it's the Jags, but I do think that Jacobs can do well on screens. He doesn't have the breakaway speed, but he's very elusive. He moves great laterally. He's got great vision. So I'm excited about the screen game. And last but not least, the Chargers were terrible defending the run last year. And you got to slow down Bosa and Mack. And running, I wouldn't run at Mack, honestly. I'd stay away from that right-hand side. Unless you doubled him up, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, we're going to have to do something. We got to game plan it, because Brandon Parker, even just based on what we saw at left tackle, obviously he's not going to be playing left tackle against the Chargers, but he has no awareness whatsoever. He still lunges. Yeah, no indication that he's going to be able to hold down the right tackle spot.
Yeah, it just, some guys can flip around and play the other side. Brandon Parker cannot play on the left side, man. His technique goes to absolute dog shit. Not to say that he's a freaking, master technician on the right side. On that left side, oof, he looks like Leatherwood He looks like Leatherwood last year playing tackle on the right side. Brandon Parker looks like that playing on the left side.
You know who is damn good tonight, who deserves a shout out right now?
So,
Illuminor. Illuminor at left tackle was
yeah,
damn impressive.
he was out in front of that touchdown run by Abdullah. He looked good. He looked good. He's used to the blocking scheme from his days with the Patriots. The reads, it's hard not to kind of really see it, not watching game film and being able to stop it, slow it down. But it seems like everything with the offensive line is inside out. That's what it seems like. Like it's not a shifting type where you're gonna get the hat this way, you're gonna get this number. You're not. There's no counting involved with this blocking scheme. It's you get the guy inside versus the guy outside, and making it simpler like that helped our linebacking core last year. Well, not Littleton. It helped our defensive backs last year. Well, not Abrams, but mostly everybody else. A simpler scheme helped these younger players perform at a higher level. It seems like that simpler blocking scheme helped the offensive line play at a better level.
I'd agree. Yeah, it was really positive, man. That first half was incredible, and then Stidham deserves a shout out too. I don't think we've got a quarterback battle at all, right? I think we all agree Stidham had a really solid game today as our second. Mullins didn't really didn't have the same rhythm, didn't have the same momentum, wasn't really able to move the chains at all. So Stidham's job definitely behind Carr, and he looked good too, I gotta say.
Hang on, I'm blocking some of these freaking porn sites that are. All right.
Let's see what else, man. I mean,
Let's see what we got here.
I mentioned it earlier.
We got a couple of comments here that we want to get to. Raider for Life 2273 Parker is bad. Look, man, this is the kind of shit you're going to get with the windbags. You're going to get our analysis plus you're going to get this expert analysis like the one you get from Raider for Life 2273. Parker is bad. Raider for Life 2273, I concur. Wowza says, look at those wraparounds, bro. This guy is thugging right now. The team looks disciplined. Yes, they do. With
I'd agree.
One penalty in the first half. That's an excellent job. Demond Smith.
It's not just
Parker should be cut tomorrow.
When you talk about discipline, though, it's not just penalties. Like everyone seemed to know their assignment. Everyone was getting off the ball quick. You know, the execution. I wrote it out a couple of times. Like we just executed well. Where there was the screens, where there was the play action. There was just a level of detail to everything that was really encouraging.
Yeah, man. Demond Smith, Parker should be cut tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, man, I mean, he's playing at left tackle. They were trying him out at a new position. He's still, at the moment, at least, according to training camp, he's still, I guess, our best right tackle, which is insane.
Well, I'll tell you this. The standard is the standard. It seems like from this game, it seems like Leatherwood may have that right side job sewn up. I didn't see anything that would cause me to say that anyone other than Colton Miller is going to start from what we saw. I think that's what we're going to see. I didn't see Illuminor did flash, but he was, playing in tackle against, some third string guys. But the standard is the standard. And if you're going to keep a Brandon Parker, you can't keep Brandon Parker on your team to just be a backup right tackle. It can't happen. You have to have a swing guy that can go either side. That's probably going to be Illuminor or Thayer Munford. I didn't really see Thayer Munford.
Nope. He did not look good at right tackle.
Yeah. I didn't see him play too well. He looked a little bit stiff. Maybe it's his first game. We'll see if he can improve on that. But ultimately, your value as a backup is in your versatility. That was one thing that I was trying. If I had hair, I would have pulled it out when I kept hearing about versatility and Leatherwood. That's not what you want from a fucking first rounder. You don't want the first thing to be like, oh, he does a lot of things well. He can play a lot of positions. Like, no, I want you to play your main position, fucking tits through the roof. And if you're a backup, okay, versatility is fine as a backup. That's what we want, especially when you don't have a full complement of backup spots. You don't have 5 starters and 5 backup linemen on your team. You usually have 3 backup linemen. And if you're a swing tackle, you got to be able to play both sides. And Parker just can't do it, man. He just can't do it. He got used like Damon Smith said. He got manhandled by a rookie and Arden Key. And it's kind of difficult to argue that.
Yeah, he did. He lost to, the first overall pick. The Arden Key sacks are both stunts, I believe. And that's at least partially his fault. It's not 100% his fault, but it's a concern, man. I don't think he's not impressed at all. And yeah, Munford was in at right tackle to start the second half, and his very first, the third down. He was badly beaten at right tackle. He didn't even get out of his stance at all. The defensive man was already by him at that point. So, I mean, look, starting offensive line, Colton Miller on the left. John Simpson looks like left guard, Stonewall. Andre James is your center. Right guard, it still looks like Cotton. He didn't do anything so negative tonight that I think that job's in jeopardy at the moment. Right tackle, Leatherwood didn't exactly have a bad game. He didn't set the world on fire, and we didn't really get to see Parker at right tackle. We got the Vikings next in preseason. I would be flabbergasted if Brandon Parker isn't at least given a minimum of a quarter at right tackle. A minimum. It should be a half. Like, if he's the answer, we need to know that now. If he's not, we need to know that right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I know this isn't the end all be all, but we see them a lot in practice. These coaches see them a lot with practice, and just the fact that he didn't get a lot of run at right tackle makes you think like, okay, he's not a candidate to start. His job is going to be on the swing. Let's see how he does at left tackle to see if he can be a swing tackle.
Let me ask you this. Man.
Sure.
Let me ask you this. So last time we did this pod together, we were talking about our biggest need, right? And we were talking about right tackle with a possible fix out there that's a pretty good fix. Darrell Williams from the old right tackle for the Bills as a good swing tackle option that's done guard and right tackle. After this preseason game, we were also talking about the interior of our defensive line being a problem in terms of injuries, Hankins being out, Bilal being out as our 2 starters. Who's really going to step up behind them? We were talking about Farrell and Butler having a chance to shine as rookies. Vickers actually had a nice game today. He flashed a couple of times.
He had a nice game, yeah.
Yep, he had a nice game. Farrell, I was keeping an eye on, number 93. All of his positive plays were hustle plays. He wasn't getting any penetration whatsoever. In fact, he got blown off the ball a couple of times. But he had some nice hustle plays where he was chasing the play down from behind and had the tackle. And then Butler had one good pass rush win on that first down, 1st and 10 in the third, where Kuntz also had a win on that rep. But besides that, we had nothing interior. Like, I think the case for bringing in Sue gets stronger and stronger every day.
Yeah, the inside of the interior of a defensive line really didn't show much. Not a lot of knockback, and that's something that we need to have up the middle, especially with the kind of quarterbacks we have in our division. We can't just let them sit in the pocket and step up, and we're going to have pressure on the outside. But if they can step up and still have a clean pocket and a clean lane to throw, especially against that shorty, Russell Wilson, let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Jacobs, 5 carries for 30 yards, 6 yards a carry.
Good
work for him. He looked good.
He looked good, man.
Kenyon Drake, 5 rushes for 9 yards. 1.8 yards.
Did not look as good.
Zamir White, 11 carries, 52 yards. Almost 5 yards a carry, 4.7. Nice
solid
work. Yeah, good job. Austin Walter, number 22 out there. And number 22 in the program, number 1 in your heart. 8 carries for 49 yards, 6 yards a carry. Yeah, I had a 22-yard touchdown run. What do you guys got over here?
I got one more shout out.
Leatherwood looks like he cleaned up his hands a good amount. I think more so than his hands, I think he cleaned up his footwork. He wasn't leaning forward. He was balanced. He was allowing the defender to get into his area before he punched. He wasn't leaning out in front and being a little bit more overly anxious. Tyree Gillespie caused a fumble. That's the kind of shit that we need to see from him in coverage. A little bit rougher in coverage. I don't know.
The only thing I noticed from Gillespie was a missed tackle. I might have missed other shit, but I saw
You
a missed
caused a
tackle.
fumble. You didn't see that?
I didn't think it was him that caused that fumble, dude.
Yeah, he did. He freaking put his shoulder right on the ball, knocked the ball out.
Are you sure that was him?
I promise you it was him.
All right.
And then Harmon recovered it.
Yeah, Harmon definitely recovered it.
No, yeah, it was
someone else.
No, it was Tyreek Gillespie, man. Tyreek Gillespie is the guy that did that. All
right, sweet.
Yeah. So, knee-jerk reaction. What do you think? Give me 3 players to cut, 3 players to move up.
Oh man. I thought that Bryce Crosby in the nickel earned himself potentially a roster spot today. We didn't see a Meek Robertson at all, huh?
No.
Interesting. So Bryce was in the nickel and actually had a couple of really good plays. There was one play in particular. So he flashed a couple of times, but there was one play on 3rd down where super savvy, man. Like for a young guy, he came off and he was watching the quarterback's eyes the whole way. He came off his guy in the slot and broke on the ball and almost got the pick in front of the tight end. Which, like, you gotta have some serious confidence to do something like that, and that really flashed. Hobbs was outside. He started the game outside. He was in press man every time. He never got thrown at, so there was no real chance to see him do it. But I really liked Hobbs in the nickel last year. Obviously, he was great blitzing. He was great setting the edge. Obviously in coverage, he was really good. But who is really behind him as our nickel cornerback, especially if Hobbs goes outside? I think it has to be. I mean, Bryce Crosby, right? We didn't see anything from Amik. So I think he possibly earned himself a spot. Let's see, who else? Yeah, I think Coots obviously solidified. I know you didn't necessarily see it. I thought he had a good game. So can he be a part of the rotation?
I saw his pass defense. I like for being a pass rush specialist, I would like to have seen him a little bit in the backfield a little bit more. Maybe not getting the stats, but like more of a Max Crosby-ish style. Like, hey, let me get back there and cause a little bit of havoc. It seemed like he was maybe at the line of scrimmage a little too often for my liking.
Touche. I don't really have another one that really like popped out. I think obviously Zeus had a good game, and we talk about people that could be expendable. We've already spoken about Drake. When you look at in terms of what is he guaranteed this year? Is it a pretty big guaranteed number?
I don't know. I'll double check, but I don't think it's that big of a number.
I think if they're able to cut and run from that contract, I think they're going to put him on the block and get rid of him. Just based on what we've seen this game and what we've heard from camp so far. Because Amir Abdullah is also, he's making a statement. The other big thing here, dude, I don't know if you noticed, but on special teams, Hollins, Tyron, Amir, these guys.
Those are all playing. They're all out there.
Dude, they are contributing on special teams. It looks like they've defined that role. And that, you and I both really like Brian Edwards. And we're kind of bummed out that he got traded. But I think that's ultimately what did it, was that he wasn't going to play special teams. And these guys will. Like Hollins and Tyron Johnson were out there a lot.
Let's see. Base salary 2.5. He restructured to 1.1. Cap hit 3.8. 3.8.
I mean, it's pretty hefty, but it's not the end of the world. Like, if they can get decent draft capital for him, which they probably can't, but if someone
offered you get draft capital for him, dude.
If someone offered you a 3rd-round pick, you take it, right?
Dude, I would do backflips if I got a 3rd-round pick for $4 million basically, and a running back that couldn't make our squad. Yeah, no, that's not
right.
They, running. Unfortunately, the way the NFL is, running backs are out there to be plucked, and if we get a 6th-round pick for him, I would be like, okay, cool, Again, it's one game, but knee-jerk reaction. Parker, what the hell? If you can't play both tackle spots, you're not good to us. You can't be a backup and be able to play one position. Just that's just the way of the world. Even our backup center has to be able to play guard. Um, so those are two there. Um, there was who was it? Was it Bowers that whiffed on a block, and that's what he's in there for? Um,
I
on
don't know.
tight end. It was a whiff on a block,
Hmm.
and I was kind of in and out of the game. I wasn't playing too much attention there, but uh, I think it was Bowers at tight end. If you're a backup tight end, anyone out there, if you're playing backup tight end, you have to know how to block, and you can't whiff like that. You can't whiff at air like that. That was really tough.
Jacob Hollister is our other backup tight end, and he actually had some really good reps in terms of blocking. He was the guy that set the edge on that Stidham run to the right.
Yeah, that
Um,
22-yard run or something like that.
yeah, he had a couple of good ones.
Yeah, so the main thing that I want to focus on as a collective for this game, what can we take away? Well, it didn't seem like the team was having too much trouble, especially defensively, blending from formation to formation, from look to look. Whether they were three down, sometimes they played two down linemen. They had a three down look, and then one of the guys stood up, was more like an outside linebacker type, where they played instead of a 3-3 or a 3-4, they played more of a 2-4. So everything seemed fluid. Everything seemed seamless. People knew where to line up. No rule broken plays, busted coverages, nothing like that. Offensively, the line uh, looked okay. It didn't flash out. They didn't. It wasn't really that knockback type of offensive line that we've had in the past, where we're just keep pancaking 3, 4, 5 guys and getting these big chunks of yardage. The running backs had to work for it. They had to work for their yardage, which is, in the NFL, you do have to work for your stuff. That's fine. But they weren't whiffing, unless you're Brandon Parker in pass coverage. In run blocking, I think the offensive line did much better than expected.
Yeah, run blocking was a positive in my opinion. I think it was very good. There was big holes. Both sides of the line did well. Pass blocking, they got to clear up the stunts. I think that's going to be an easy coaching uh, learned lesson from this game coming into next game. Like they did not handle stunts well at all. Otherwise, I thought they did pretty damn well, except for Brandon Parker at left tackle.
Oof.
So offensive line pretty good overall. Again, easy fixable shit. I thought Illuminor was very good. Parham looked really good. Had some good moments. Cotton again looked good. Leatherwood wasn't horrible. No pre-snap penalties. There was just a lot of positives from this game.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff to take away. Anything to you want to end up with?
No, we didn't necessarily have a ton on defense. Crosby didn't play at all. Perriman didn't play at all. Obviously, Chandler Jones has kind of been banged up, didn't play at all. But the first start of the game, Abram was in, Merrick was in, Diablo was in, Hobbs was in, so there were some heavy hitters in. We didn't really see anything from them. Like they weren't really tested at all. But Graham, I was shocked to see how much Graham did in terms of, usually keep it pretty vanilla in the preseason, but he was bringing blitzes from the nickel. He brought a safety blitz. He brought linebacker blitzes. I never saw less than a four-man rush. Usually it was 4 or 5. And as you said, I'd say the majority of the snaps, there was 3 linemen with their hand in the dirt and 1 standing up, but they were usually rushing 4 or 5. And I mean, I'm excited to see more. Obviously, they're not going to show a ton in preseason, but offense, McDaniels showed a ton, and the execution was high across the board. Penalties were low. We saw what we needed to see. Defense, same deal. We saw some really positive shit from Graham. We saw some good performances. There wasn't any glaring weaknesses. People tackled well. We blitzed again and got pressure. Again, really positive. Dan Carlson, sorry, is in midseason form. He hit that 55-yarder
God,
with,
like
with
nothing.
plenty to go.
Butter.
AJ Cole didn't really do much. I thought his directional punting could have been a little bit better, but it was still good. And he should not have tried to make that tackle on that punt return. I was screaming at the TV, dude. I was like,
Don't do that. What the hell?
What are you fucking doing, dude? But anyway, it was really, really positive. I'm stoked. I mean, what do you watch a preseason game for? You're not expecting, you're not looking for the win. You're looking for certain things. And I thought we got most of our answers outside of Brandon Parker and Leatherwood at right tackle.
Yeah, I liked the tempo. I think offensively, defensively, we played with good tempo. I mean, routinely, we snapped the ball with 10, 12 seconds left on the play clock. Like we were humming along. We knew what we were doing. We're on the ball, on the go. Defensively, there was one play when we ran a defender in late. But other than that, we were lined up where we needed to line up. We weren't seeing a lot of chatter of where to line up and what's going on here. None of that stuff. Granted, the Jags were doing a lot of stuff offensively to make us move around, but everyone knew where they needed to be. Not a lot of guys out of position. No big plays. That one return that we got in the kicking game, the return against us, it was because of a penalty. So, other than that, I think it was solid, man. We looked sharp. We looked clean. I'm encouraged.
Me too, man. Good first game.
All right, guys. Much appreciated to you guys. Just want to make sure as we end up here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That little button on the end there, right on the corner. Go ahead and click that little button. That it's an alert button. What it does, it gives you an alert whenever we do a live show like this, or we drop a new video for you guys. You're one of the first to know, so you can watch it and comment. So make sure to tell your friends, tell your mamas, tell your haters, tell your neighbors, tell your neighbors' neighbors, tell your girlfriend, tell your wife, tell them both. All right, guys, that's our time. Raiders win today, 27-11. Even more importantly than that, we look clean, we look sharp, and we got a few answers as far as our roster depth goes. And until next time, guys, peace.